And it was just another day, yeah.
Just another day.
Until I went to the movies, and now it's a movie Tuesday. A movie Tuesday. Until a movie Tuesday.
Yellow, and welcome to Movie Tuesday. Again. I'm saying again, specifically, because this is not the first time I've recorded this video. I recorded earlier, and for whatever reason, the video got lost in the ether, so now I must record all that missed content again. So if I seem a little grumpy or a little tired, that's why. Because that sucks when that happens. Without further ado, let's get into the movie news. James Gunn has said that there is a high possibility that there's going to be a Rocket, Raccoon, and a Groot movie. Like those two together and just those two in a movie. It's a high possibility. I'm just going to go ahead and say that it's happening. That news fits with what Marvel released a little while, not too long ago, but they came out and said that they wanted to make a lot more, or after they're done with Infinity War, I think, yeah, after Infinity War, I can't remember if they were talking about part 1 or 2. I'm going to guess and say that they're talking about part 2. But they were saying after they finished Infinity War, they wanted to get back to making more intimate Marvel movies and kind of focus on like more team up movies where it's like two people or so, like they're doing with Thor Ragnarok, because you know Hawk is supposed to be in that one. I guess they want to make more movies like that where they just kind of match some characters up and have them go about their business. So that's cool, man. I'm really looking forward to more intimate movies. I hope what they mean by the word intimate, that it's gonna be more about that specific character and not about, or not another piece of the overall narrative of the Marvel universe. Because honestly, dude, I'm really getting tired of the whole build up to Thanos. Like at this point, I just want them to like skip all the rest of these movies and kind of just jump to Thanos and get it over with. It was cool for like the first couple years, man, but like we're almost 10 years in now, and they still haven't like got to the whole conflict with Thanos. It's just a slow build up, and I'm getting old, I'm getting tired, I'm getting impatient. So, you know, I'm ready to get this over with so we can get to more intimate movies and just have stories that focus on the title character and nothing else. So, you know, but that's just me. Other than that, man, like that's the Rocket and Groot movie is cool. I don't blame them for wanting to do that. I'm sure it took a lot of time and money for the effects, this computer effects to make those characters. So if they want to find other projects for them to be in, like, be my guest. You know, that's cool. I just like to congratulate Marvel real quick on successfully bringing the convoluted stories of the comic books to the movies. It's getting crazy, man. It's getting crazy. Like, you know, got a whole bunch of characters coming down the pipeline. There's a whole lots of shit going on in the Marvel Cinematic Universe to the point where I can barely keep up, man. It's gonna get to a point where I'm gonna start skipping some movies because I don't know how much longer I can do it. Also, dude, I want to say with Kevin Feige, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, first of all, but with Kevin Feige, I hope he's training a protege to take over for him when he eventually retires and goes off to some different planet with his buttload of money that he has. I hope he's training somebody. You know, that would be my advice to the execs over at Marvel, is start working on a protege if you're not already, to replace him. don't do what Apple did. Okay, Apple hasn't been the same since Jobs passed away. They've been playing catch up for a minute now, and Marvel, if you don't want to end up like Apple, I would say start getting somebody ready to start grooming them, start molding them right now, because Kevin Feige is gonna be a hard person to replace when the time comes. So that's all I'm saying. But don't listen to me. What the fuck do I know? I'm just a fan. Just a fan who thinks he knows what he's talking about, I guess. On other news, anyway, Walton Goggins has been confirmed as the main antagonist of the Tomb Raider movie. This is good news. It's good because I've been hearing bits and pieces of a Tomb Raider movie possibly getting made, but it kind of went dark for a little bit, but then it popped up with the news of him being a villain, so I guess things are still moving forward with that project. That's cool. I'm looking forward to that movie coming out. I'm really hoping that they do a Angelina Jolie cameo. It'd be pretty nice. I'd really appreciate that, so hopefully they can get that to happen. Walton Goggins is a good actor, man. I like that guy. If you don't know who he is, let's see. The most recent thing he's done, I would say, is that new show with Danny McBride on HBO, Vice Principals. He did that. Movies, I think the last thing I saw him in was The Hateful Eight. And he was the, goddamn, I can't remember his name, but he was the guy who was on his way to the town to become the new sheriff. That guy's hilarious. I really like him. He's got a lot of range. Got a whole buttload of characters that he can do, man. I've seen him in the villain roles, which he's really good at. I've seen him in the not so villainy roles, but not so good guy role either. So like the anti-hero type role, but which is what he did in like Justified and what he does in Vice Principals. So that's a good get for with that actor. The one thing that I'm worried about though is that I hope that in the movie it's not like some mystery as to who the main villain is. And what I mean by that is like I hope he's not like rolling around with Laura in the movie or kind of like helping her out and stuff, but then eventually like just turns on her and it's just like one of these twists that you never saw coming. Or they just like never show him, but they always talk about him. A prime example of that is the movie Ride Along, where with Kevin Hart and Ice Cube, where they were going after this crime boss, right? And they never showed him; they just talked about him. So like, and the only thing they knew about him was his name. Nobody knew what he looked like. So it's just them running around the movie asking people like who this guy is and where he's at and stuff, right? And but in the opening credits of the movie, when they're showing all the names and stuff, at the end of them introducing all the actors, there was Anne starring Lawrence Fishburne, right? And I was like, oh shit! I was like, Lawrence Fishburne's in this movie. So like while I'm watching the movie and everything, and they're doing the whole thing where they're asking about the crime boss and stuff and where he's at, and they're trying to like make it this big mystery, I'm just like, oh, it's Lawrence Fishburne. I was like, because I remember them showing his name in the credits, and they haven't shown him since. So I'm just gonna take a wild guess and say this Lawrence Fishburne, and lo and behold, Lawrence Fishburne ended up being like the main bad guy. I guess that's a spoiler, but then again, that movie came out like what 2 years ago. So I mean, like the statute of limitations is kind of over now. So. Eat shit if you get pissed off at that. If you haven't seen Ride Along by now, you don't want to see Ride Along. But you should see Ride Along. It's actually pretty funny. But anyway, on to other news. George Lucas gave Gareth Edwards some advice. News came out about it. I'm going to go ahead and take a wild guess and say that this was something that was done before the filming of Rogue One, seeing as how the movie comes out this week. So it'd be kind of stupid for him to give this kind of advice to the director of the movie. The advice he gave him was to not screw it up. Pretty much, he quote said, "Don't screw it up." So, I mean, sage advice coming from George Lucas. Honestly, I feel like he's the only person in the world who can tell somebody else that who's working on a Star Wars movie. All these Star Wars fans around here, including myself, who hold those movies in such high regard, and people who come in who aren't George Lucas are working on it. Like, we can sit up there and say, "Oh, you better not screw this up. You better not screw this up." But at the end of the day, George Lucas is the only one who can say that to somebody. He's the only one who has the right to say that. So, pretty good advice. So it's good to hear that he's kind of coming around to the Star Wars movies being made without him. I think after he sold it off and like they got people to work on the new ones, I think he was kind of a little depressed or whatever that he couldn't work on them anymore, which is understandable. I understand that. It's got to be pretty hard to watch a baby walk off into the sunset like that and become something else. I kind of equate it to how a parent feels when their kid is a porn star. Like, they birth this kid and they grow up to be this adult that you're proud of and everything, and then they go into a career of doing porn, and it's like, I imagine a parent is like, "Man, that's not how I imagined they would end up being, but they're doing their thing. It's making them happy, I guess, and they're making a shitload of money, and people love them. So Godspeed." I feel like that's how George Lucas is. Like, George Lucas is a parent and Star Wars is his kid that's gone off to porn and just gets used over and over and over and over again. So, but anyway, that's cool, man. It's cool he's giving advice to the director and shit. He's even joking around with him. I guess he made some kind of joke where he told him there wasn't enough computer effects in the movie. Like, he should have used more of that and less practical. So, and that's what I was saying earlier. Like, I'm hoping that he gave him this advice before he started filming the movie. But, with that joke that he's cracking about using more computer effects, I feel like he just watched like a private screen of the movie or something. So like maybe it was recent, but I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on in Hollywood, obviously. But that does it for the news. Let's get to the movie trailers, because we got some pretty big trailers that I'm excited to talk about. Starting with Baywatch. I would just like to issue an apology right now to Hollywood. From the deepest depths of my heart, I apologize for rolling my eyes and grunting furiously when I first read the news that there was going to be a Baywatch movie. I don't know why I felt that way, because I grew up watching Baywatch and I like that show. And, like they recently well, not recently, it's been a while now. It's been a minute. Shit, God, I'm so old. But, they did a A-Team movie, with Bradley Cooper and Liam Neeson, and that ended up being good. So why can't Baywatch be good? But at the time when I read that news, I was like really disappointed, where I was just like, oh, they're making a Baywatch movie. I immediately got on board though when they announced that The Rock was going to be in it. I don't know about y'all, but when it comes to The Rock, I will go and see it. I don't care. I haven't seen every movie that he's been in, but I've seen most of them. And I have yet to see a movie where I don't enjoy The Rock in it. Like, that man's awesome. And if he does end up being the shit movie, I'm pretty sure he'll be like the best part about the movie. But yeah, once they announced The Rock in there, I was like all in. I was like, yes, dude, like get me in there, The Rock, right? They recently showed the trailer for the movie, and that movie looks fucking amazing, okay? Like, I did not know they were going like the action comedy route, I thought they were going to try and hit like the same tone as a show, but it seems like this movie is gonna be like self-aware and everything. And I guess the guy who directed the horrible bosses movie is gonna be directing this movie, so that's another plus. It's great, man. I didn't know Zac Efron was gonna be in it. Uh, that's great because I like Zac Efron. I think he's pretty hilarious. I need to watch. I need to watch that one movie that he's in. I think it's like We Are Your Friends, where he's like a DJ or something. Seems a little bit more dramatic. I want to see him do like a more serious role. I think because I think the only movies I've seen him in, besides Neighbor, I can't remember what other movie it was that I saw him in. But like in Neighbors and Neighbors 2, I like him. He's really funny, very good comedic actor, very physical actor. He's got a very nice body, and I want his body, you know. But I would like to see him in a more dramatic role to see how his dramatic chops are. But that's cool that he's in this movie. You know, I'm looking forward to that. It looks hilarious. I'm also looking forward to seeing my girl Alexandra Daddario. Out of all the things that I've seen her in, I don't think I've seen her in a comedic sense yet. So I'm looking forward to see what she brings to the table in this role in this movie. I've seen her do the drama in True Detective. I've seen her do the physical stuff in San Andreas, and I was impressed, very impressed. She's making good decisions in her life. You know, she's got a bright future ahead of her. So, you know, Baywatch, man, looking forward to that. God, I hope that movie's good. I hope that movie is good as the trailer looks. Whew. Next trailer is Spider-Man. They finally released a trailer for Spider-Man Homecoming. I'm so happy. It looks good. It looks real good. I don't know about you. Can't speak for anybody else, but speaking for myself personally, as a very, very, very big Spider-Man fan, okay? Very big. I'm talking, like, look at this shit. Big Spider-Man fan, okay? Fucking look at this. Big Spider-Man fan. What you know about that stuff? What you know about this? You know, big Spider-Man fan. Fantastic Four Spider-Man, okay? Read and weep. I can keep going, but you know, let's just stop. You know, I don't need to prove myself to you, okay? Big Spider-Man fan. Really looking forward to this movie, okay? Way overdue for a good Spider-Man movie. Haven't seen a good Spider-Man movie since Spider-Man 2 with Alfred Molina, okay? Been a long time. I'm sorry. Everybody knows Spider-Man 3 was not a good movie. They've been showing it on cable, and I watched it again like years later, you know, thinking to myself, because you know Amazing Spider-Man ain't any better. Like, oh God, it's been a roller coaster for Spider-Man fans, I'm telling you. But I went back and watched 3 just to see like if it was as bad as I thought it was when I first watched it, and it is, dude. It's got potential, but it's all over the place. They're juggling way too many things. You know, they're switching up shit that was established back in the first movie. It was a disaster, okay? Then Amazing Spider-Man comes along, and I wasn't impressed with that for the most part. Like, I got no beef with Andrew Garfield. I like Andrew Garfield, but I don't like cool Spider-Man. I like my Spider-Man to be socially awkward. I like him to be a geek. I like him to be a super duper bona fide nerd, okay? And that's what Tom Holland's bringing. I'm happy that they're putting him back in the high school role. You know, it's too many adult superheroes out there. We need to get the youngins up in there. You know, kids can be heroic too. So it's cool that they're like putting him back in that role of a high schooler and stuff, where he's got to like juggle school life and superhero life. It's great. It's awesome. You know, and in high school life, you don't have a job. You ain't got no money. All right, struggle's real. That's why I love Spider-Man. That's the superhero that struggles financially. Okay, maybe not nowadays in the comics or something. Last time I checked in the comics, he was like rich as fuck. But anyway, like, movie looks good. One thing that surprised me about it though was that it doesn't look like a Marvel movie. Like cinematography wise, like it doesn't look like a Marvel movie. I was really surprised to see that because I thought like Marvel was gonna be behind this. I thought Sony was just like fronting the rights and stuff, and they kind of just were gonna take a seat back and let Marvel do it. I need to do some research and look into that again. But it looked like a Sony movie. It kind of looks like a happy in between being a Sony movie of how the original Spider or Amazing Spider-Man had looked, where it's a little darker in tone and look wise, and it kind of has a little smidge of Marvel in there as well with their little magic and stuff. So it looks good, man. And just like Baywatch, I hope the movie is as good as the trailer is. Another thing that I'm hoping for is that Tony Stark's role is just very minimum. Like, obviously, Downey's going to chew up the scene like he normally does. He can't help it, I understand. But I just hope that they realize that this is a Spider-Man movie and not an Iron Man movie. And if it does end up like being a lot of scenes with Tony Stark and Iron Man up in there, I'm gonna be pissed, and I'm gonna write a letter to Marvel, and I'm gonna be like, and I'm gonna write the letter. I'm not gonna tweet them. I'm not gonna email them. I'm gonna write a letter, and I'm gonna be like, yo, dog, like straight up, I know y'all doing these buddy movies now. Just call the damn movie what it is, okay? If you're gonna have Iron Man chewing up the scene, hanging with Spider-Man, just call it Spider-Man Iron Man, or Iron Man and Spider-Man, whatever the hell you want to call it, all right? But stop calling movies something that they're not. Like, Civil War is a prime example. Not a Captain America movie. Don't care what anybody says. Don't even waste your time arguing with me. It was an Avengers movie, okay? At the very least, it was an Iron Man movie. But it was anything but a Captain America movie. So I'm hoping that Spider-Man Homecoming doesn't make that same mistake, and they just kind of keep Tony Stark in a small minimum role. Okay? That's all I'm asking. But still looking forward to seeing my boy Downey in there as well. Because speaking of going back to Civil War, that was my favorite part out of the entire movie, was just him in Queens talking to Pete in his room. Just them hanging out, shooting the shit, talking about stuff. That was great. I like that scene in limo where they're talking and trying to give him pointers and everything like that. That was awesome. But like I said, just don't overdo it. But right now, it's looking promising. It's looking real promising. I can't wait. This is one of those things where I wish I could just go inside a cryopod and like set it for, July 2017, and just come out and go to the movies. Like, be great. In fact, I would skip it up maybe a month ahead because I'd like to go when there's nobody in the theater so I can actually like hear what the hell's going on. Because how assholes like to go in theaters and be assholes nowadays. Well, it's pretty much always been like that, but still. Other thing is too is like, so the Vulture is the villain in the movie. How pissed is Sam Raimi right now? I really want to know. Somebody needs to write an article on that if they haven't already. They need to get some perspective on what Sam Raimi thinks about Spider-Man Homecoming and having the Vulture be the villain. For those who don't know, Sam Raimi, the guy who kickstarted the whole Spider-Man craze on the silver screen, did Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3. 3 was a disaster, and after 3, he started working on 4, and in 4, he wanted the Vulture to be the villain. And for some stupid, odd reason, I think it was some Sony execs. It had to be Sony because, they own the rights to him and shit. They were just like, nah, dude, we want the Lizard. I'm pretty sure they wanted the Lizard instead of the Vulture. They said the Vulture didn't have enough pizzazz or whatever, some shit. It was something stupid, but they wanted the Lizard. And I think he either walked away from it, or they just kind of said, fuck it, we'll just reboot the whole franchise and we'll start with the Lizard. And we all know how that turned out. We got another disaster of a Spider-Man movie, which was The Amazing Spider-Man. It was so bad that they made a second one that was even worse than the first one. They pulled a Transformers 2 where the sequel was so bad that it made the first movie actually decent. Like, it's crazy. One more thing I want to add about the Spider-Man Homecoming thing before we get to the next movie, is I'm really hope that they, like, for the tone of the movie, I hope they channel Spectacular Spider-Man. Spectacular Spider-Man, for those who don't know, is the greatest Spider-Man cartoon ever made. Ever. Okay? Even better, yes, even better than the Fox Kids cartoon. I know. You think it's blasphemous, but it's not. Do yourself a favor, go to the store, buy Spectacular Spider-Man, and watch it. And you will not regret it, okay? And if this movie can capture that tone, oh my God, I'll be so grateful. I mean, it's the least you can do, Sony, seeing as how you won't bring that cartoon back, seeing as how you decide to keep the rights to Spider-Man, which I think is awesome. But, I mean, if you're going to keep the rights, just make the damn cartoon again, okay? Like, go to the original team, because I'm pretty sure they're all spread out now. Pretty sure they're not at Sony anymore, or whatever studio it was. Go to each individual, and you give them whatever they want. If they want a fucking bedazzled unicorn, you give it to them. And you get them all together, and you bring Spectacular Spider-Man back. But, that's not going to happen. So, like I said, just, I'm hoping you channeled that energy from the cartoon, and you are infusing it into this upcoming movie. And that is it for Spider-Man Homecoming for now. This next trailer is going to be hard to talk about because, honestly, I don't know what the hell was happening in the trailer. The movie's called A Cure for Wellness. And there's two reasons why I'm, like, super interested in seeing it. One, Gore Verbinski is the director. Gore Verbinski did the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, the first three, not the fourth one, the good ones. So he's a director, and the second reason is when I was watching the trailer, like when it started, it had a really huge BioShock vibe, and I got all excited thinking that it was the BioShock movie, and I got excited because a long while back, they were going to make a BioShock movie, and Gore Verbinski was going to be the director. And for whatever reason, those plans fell through, and I guess it just like got canceled or whatever. And I was thinking that they had like somehow on the down low filmed this movie and put out a trailer without me or anybody else, including the internet, knowing about it. And I was getting all excited, like, oh my God, it's the BioShock movie, right? And it turns out, like, at the end of the trailer, when they showed the title of it, it wasn't, like after all the shit that they showed, I thought they were going to do, like, that whole pan up where they come out of the water and then you just see, like, the lighthouse sitting in the middle of the water and everything. But that didn't happen. But the movie still looked cool. Like I said, it had a really huge BioShock vibe. It also had a Shutter Island vibe. Like I said, it's really hard to talk about because I really didn't understand what I was looking at. Like apparently it takes place in like some insane asylum or some kind of like hospital or someplace, a psych ward, and like people are in like deprivation tanks and they got eels crawling all over them. You got weird little girls sitting around giving crazy eyes and all kind of shit like that, and other people in tanks and suspended animation or drowned or I don't know. It's crazy. Like I said, I thought it was BioShock, but when you see the trailer, it's gonna give off a Shutter Island vibe. So I really want to see it. I'm really interested to see what it is and what it's about. I also want to know as well, like, was this movie inspired by the failed BioShock project? Because honestly, dude, like for people who play video games and know what BioShock is, like if you watch this trailer, like let me know if you felt the same way, which is gonna be kind of hard to do seeing as how I'm telling you about it. So, so you might just be like, oh, you're a fucking idiot. Like, why would you think that's BioShock or blah blah blah? I don't know, but I really want to know because I have a strong feeling that like BioShock really inspired this movie. You know, like I feel like he was working on that movie, getting everything set up, and then once it fell through, he was just kind of like, huh, like, well, I'll just like take this section that I came up with and just like make a movie out of this. Like, fuck that. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, man. But those are the trailers that I've seen. So, you know, we about to get on up in that dance and ignore the rest of them trailers till the movie comes out. Because I don't want to find out before the movie comes out. Let's get to the movies. Whew, man. Tired. All right. Movies. Okay, so the 8 films to die for. All right. I watched 2 more movies. I got 2 more left. The first one I watched was Unearthed. Unearthed is about some weird monster that is running around this small town killing people. It's one of those movies where like a band of people get together to try and like survive this monster running around murdering people. It's got Charlie Murphy in it. That was the only person that I recognized. Well, him and this other dude, I can't remember his name. I feel really bad that I can't say his name right now. I should have looked it up. But he was the main villain in Blade 2. I can't even remember that dude's name. Damn it! Was it Roderick? Ruvik? No, it's not Ruvik. That's Evil Within. But anyway, he was the main villain in Blade 2. So look that up. That guy's in the Unearthed movie. Those are the only 2 that I recognize. I mean, you got like a sheriff who's drunk, or she's the sheriff and the town drunk. You got a little scientist chick who, you know, obviously she's gonna help. She's the tool to help figure out how to kill the monster running around and shit. And you know, everybody else is there to like scream and get murdered brutally. That was one thing about the movie, is that they had a good use of practical effects. There was a lot of gory kill scenes in the movie. Some that like at one point I thought it was a little over the top, but then at the other point I was just like, yeah, it's like, you know, I mean, we don't know exactly how the body would react to getting chopped in half like that, but I'm guessing that's what it looked like, right? So but it was an entertaining movie. I enjoyed it for the most part. Would I watch it again? I mean, for shits and giggles, you know, for like around like Halloween season, sure. You know, I thought it was a pretty decent movie to watch again. You know, get a couple of drinks inside my system and sit down and laugh at all the stuff. I definitely watch it with my sister. I love watching movies with my sister. We just like talk all kinds of shit while it's going on. But it was pretty good. The motivations for why the monster is running around killing people was a little out there. Like, I feel like the filmmakers or the writers or whatever tried a little too hard to differentiate this monster's motivations from the standard motivations of a monster running around killing people. Like, it's not just like, oh, you know, like, it's a monster. Why wouldn't they run around and kill people, right? Like, you know. And then the other thing is, too, is like, when they do explain why the monster's doing what it's doing, they kind of like breeze right over it. It's one of those things where they're like kind of talking, and they're like, oh yeah, and this is why it's doing this, blah, blah, blah. And then they kind of just go on to the next scene. I was like, well, wait, like, what? Like, I don't fully understand what's happening, you know? But anyway, like, it was all right. One of the problems is, or probably my only problem with the movie was that there's times where the monster is done with practical effects where they barely show it, but then when they do show it, like moving around, they use CGI effects, and it looked kind of cheesy. It looked cheesy. But it's a B movie, so I guess you can't like really fault it for it. You know, it's kind of like with the acting, where the acting isn't like the like top tier acting, you know, it's like B movie acting. So you can't really like judge it too hard. But if I had to talk about like things that I thought were a little like in the movie, it would be like them showing the monster like running around and stuff. And I'm just like that. I don't know. I feel like you guys could have did a better job with that. But you know, whatever. But yeah, man, Unearthed. Yeah, so Unearthed is in the books. Next Halloween, if you're looking for some scary movies to watch, I'd say go and try and find Unearthed and check it out. Next movie I watched was Borderland. Now, this movie was kind of weird because I didn't think it was like super scary, and at first I was kind of just like asking myself like, how the fuck is this a horror movie? Borderland is about these group of these three friends who are like getting ready to go off to college, and they want to like hang out one more time before they all go their separate ways because they're going to different universities and stuff. And so they wanted to hang out one more time. So they took a road trip to, I'm pretty sure it was Mexico because they were in Texas, I think. So they take a road trip to Mexico to like, you know, party and bullshit, you know, sex, drugs, alcohol, all that shit, right? Meanwhile, the part that they're going to is inhabited by this like cult gang, like this weird blood cult gang that like kidnaps people and sacrifices them to a blood god or some shit. They're like running around the streets of Mexico, you know, doing their abduction thing, right? And so naturally, our three friends get caught in the middle of that. And like I said, I was kind of like finding it hard to believe that this was a horror movie. Like I kept asking myself, like, why is this in the collection, right? But then it was like, when you think about it, it's kind of scary, like the idea of it, you know, that coupled with the fact that the story in the movie is based off a true story. Like, I guess like the shit that happened in this movie actually happened in real life. So that was pretty scary. But even without that, just like abduction stories in like a foreign land or a foreign place or whatever is pretty scary, dude. Like I always kind of like get a little, you know, shaken up when you got like people where they go off to fucking like Hostel, where they go to these different countries and they get kidnapped and they wake up in a room and they're like butt naked and getting tortured and shit. It's like that's scary as shit, man, you know? So that freaked me out a little bit, and I guess and then like once I realized that, I was like, yeah, I get why it's in the collection now, you know. But it was pretty good. It was a pretty good movie. You know, acting, like I said, was just meh. Wasn't that great, but you know, B movie stuff, so you can't fault it too much. The kills in this movie was like really gruesome, man. Like it was some crazy shit. Like in the Unearthed movie, the kills in Borderland were worse than in the Unearthed movie because you got people screaming and kicking around, you know, and trying to get free while they're getting their eyes cut out and shit. And I'm just like, and they're actually showing this shit, like practical effects and everything. And I was like, damn, dude, like this thing was making me a little queasy, you know. You know, people getting their arms chopped off. Like there was one person who died where I was literally just like, damn, dude, like that's fucked up. Like I don't even care about that character, and it's fucked up the way that person went out. You know what I mean? But I thought it was pretty decent, man. The one problem that I had with the movie though is that it was too dark. Like not like tone wise, but like visual wise. Like I kind of felt like they could have used a little bit more lighting in this movie. There were times where I could barely see what was going on the screen because it was so dark. But it was all right, man. Would I watch it again? Same as Unearthed, like around Halloween time with a couple of drinks in me. Like I probably pop it in again and watch it with some peeps and shit. You know, watch it with my sis. But you know, so yeah, dude. Like 2 movies down with the 8 movies to die for. We got 2 left. All right, so hopefully I can get those done by the next video, by the next movie Chewsday. Now, let's get to what I saw in theaters. Ladies and gentlemen, I have finally gone to see Allied like I promised. I didn't promise, but I said I was going to go see it. At least I don't think I said I promised. I don't know. I promised a lot of shit. I should stop doing that. But I went to go see it. And it was good. I liked it. Not going to spoil anything. Now, you know, if you guys remember when I was talking about it last time, I had my theories on what would happen. And I can't tell you if I was right or wrong because that would give away the surprise if you eventually go see it. Well, what I will say is that this movie wasn't as big as I thought it was going to be. This movie was marketed as like, I feel like the movie was marketed as like a big blockbuster type movie. And I didn't realize how smaller or more compact of a movie it was until it actually came out because opening week when it came out, there wasn't a lot of showtimes for it. And the week had passed where I didn't see it the first week, and then the second week I'm like trying to find shows to go catch after I get off work. And it was hard to do because there would be the last show would be around like 8 or 9 o'clock, you know, and I wouldn't get off of work until like 9:30, 10 o'clock, right? So all that stuff told me that this movie isn't as big as I thought it was, but it was marketed as a big movie to me. Like you got Robert Zemeckis as a director, you got Brad Pitt, you got Marion Cotillard, and it's like, or Cotillard, I can't remember. Damn, I gotta remember these names. Fuck. But let's say Cotillard. That sounds a little more. That sounds better. But you know, you got those people in there. You got Jared Harris. Like, it was crazy. And but it ended up being like this real like intimate movie. And I ended up liking it. Like it was good. It was just I was kind of a little taken aback at how like simple the movie was and how small it was, you know, and like you know, one of the things that I kind of had me a little shaky was the effects that they were using, like the visual effects, because there's like times where you can clearly see that it's a fucking green screen, like it was shot on a green screen with some of the shots. You know, it's not all of them, but like when those shots would happen, I'm just like, it's like could have did it a little better, right? Could have, you know, blended those scenes a little better, you know. But then I had to think, I was like, yeah, you know, but that costs a little bit more money, you know what I'm saying? So I understand what's going on. I mean, you gotta be spending a pretty big penny already for Mr. Brad Pitt. But either way, like it was a small, compact movie, which was interesting. You know, I'm props to Brad Pitt for doing that because I would never expect him to do a small little project like that. I put Brad Pitt in the same category as like Will Smith or Tom Cruise, you know, where it's just like when they're in a movie, it's like big budget, blockbuster, like, you know, advertisements all over the fucking place, and you know, a movie costs like $150 million to make, you know what I'm saying? But this movie wasn't like that, and that's crazy. Like, and I'm happy that he can still like find it in himself to kind of like take a step back, maybe even take a little bit of a pay cut and be like, yeah, I'll do this. You know, it sounds like a cool role. You know what I mean? And apparently, this movie was based off a true story too. So like, that's crazy to think about. When you know, like when I got home and was reading some more about it, like I read somewhere that it was based off of a true story, and I was like, wow, like that shit actually happened. Like that's crazy. So but yeah, man, the acting was good. You know, what would you expect from, you know, top tier actors? But I mean, Brad Pitt was pretty, like, I wouldn't say he was phoning it in, but he did good. He got the message across. Marion Cotillard I thought was pretty good. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if she got a few nominations for her role in this movie, because I thought that the chemistry between the two was like very believable. You know, if you go and see it, you might kind of feel like they rushed things a little bit as far as like their relationship and how they got together. It may have felt like it's rushed, but if you kind of like pay attention to the certain ticks and how they act in certain scenes and everything, like you can kind of see the chemistry build between the two and how these characters could actually end up together after this mission. You know what I mean? But so I like that. The other thing I like too is this movie being like all intimate and stuff, like a smaller size movie. It had some pretty brutal scenes. It was pretty graphic, pretty raunchy. Like, they had some sex scenes that were like a little longer than what I'm used to seeing for sex scenes in movies in the theater. Very graphic. It's not a bad thing either. Like, I liked it. It was believable, so it was good. There was lots of kills in the movie that were pretty graphic and brutal, like to the point where I was just like kind of tensing up in my seat, like, holy shit, like, looks like he's really hurting them. But it was good, man. Had some good action, had romance, it's got the whole complete package. So I'd recommend going to see it, maybe even taking a date along with you and checking it out and see if they like it. Who knows? But I think that's about it, right? I don't think I have anything else left to say about it. It's a good movie, really good. The revelation in the movie, because for those who don't know, Allied is about these two people who are running this mission together. Brad Pitt's like some Canadian soldier or wing commander or whatever, and he's on this mission to assassinate a German ambassador or prime minister, wherever the fuck they are in Germany. And Marion Cotillard is, I think she was like a resistance fighter or something, or was she like a French soldier? She was like a French spy or something. And they had to meet up together and act like they were married on this mission to like get to this German dude and kill him, right? To assassinate him. So they do this mission, and after the mission's over, they get together and they're like, well, let's get together for real, right? So they end up getting married. They end up having a baby. They go and buy a house or whatever somewhere, and they're living their life and everything's all hunky dory until one day Brad Pitt gets called to the office, and his superiors are like, we have information that points to your wife possibly being a German spy. So we need you to like sit back and wait for us to like confirm this information. And if it turns out that she is a German spy, we need you to take her ass out. And if you don't, we're going to take her out, and then we're going to take you out for not taking her out. And the movie starts with him, or the movie just continues with him like trying to figure out if she is or if she isn't. And and I will say that I like that the revelation that happens in the movie was good, because like I said, if you pay attention to the movie, like pay attention to it, all the fucking signs, like when the revelation happens, you'll be like, okay, I believe you, And I say that because there was a movie that I saw earlier this year that tried to do something similar, where they told you one thing and then you get to the revelation of the movie, to where it opens up and everything's explained, and you're like, and once it happens, I was sitting there like, wait, but over here you said that this happened. And in the movie, they're just like, nope, we fucking lied. This is what really happened. And they like redo the scene, and they're like, that's why this person is this. And I was just like, no, No, fuck you. No, you can't do that. That's cheating. That's just being lazy. You know what I mean? So this movie didn't do that. Allied didn't do that. They did it right. They did it the right way with the revolution, or not revolution, the revelations. Okay, when shit like gets explained. All right, when they send you on this roller coaster of a ride throughout the movie, and then you get to the end and you're satisfied when they show you that prize, and you're just like, I approve. So yeah. So that was good. I like that they did that. And that's gonna about do it, man. I think I'm pretty much done with all the movies for this week. Like I said earlier, Rogue One is getting ready to come out. So hopefully the next movie Chewsday is gonna be me talking about that, on whether I liked it or not. If y'all remember from previous episodes, maybe like the episode 3 or whatever like that, I was talking about how I was worried about that movie with all the reshoots and the tone changes and shit like that, and how the movie looks like it's gonna be good, but is it actually gonna be good? Stuff like, so. But I mean, movies getting ready to come out. Press people have already went to go see screenings, and the general consensus is that it's the greatest Star Wars movie. I'm taking that with a grain of salt because these are the same people who praise Episode 7, and I'm one of those people who was not super impressed with Episode 7. So, I'll be the fucking judge on if Rogue One is actually good or not. So, until next time, you guys can find me on Twitter at the Chewels. You can find me on Instagram at ChewVision. You can email me, chewels85@gmail.com. Hit me up. Let me know what you think. Tell me if I was right. Tell me if I was wrong. If I didn't explain something enough for you, hit me up and ask me to explain it then, because, I don't want to spoil things for people. But if you want me to spoil something for you, I guess I'll do that. But you got to hit me up, because it ain't going to happen on here. Not unless I say so, and I'm not saying so. So until then, I'm peacing out. I'm tired. It's late. I'm still kind of sick. So that was Movie Chewsday. Now it's just another day.
And it was just another day, yeah.
Just another day.
Until I went to the movies, now it's a movie Tuesday.
Just another day.
A movie Tuesday. Until a movie Tuesday.